The 15-Point Plan is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network.
Welcome to another episode of the 15-Point Plan podcast. My name is Ryan Park Greigg, and as always, I am joined with my co-host, Jacqueline Smith. And today we're here to talk about, one of my favorite points, one of the easiest points, and maybe controversial, one of the most beneficial points on this plan, Jacqueline. Today we're talking about gratitude and the benefits of gratitude, and in fact, 8 benefits of what a gratitude practice can do for you. Right, Jacqueline?
Absolutely. We've been talking a lot about goal setting this time of the year. I know a lot of business owners, it's a time where we reevaluate our goals, where we ended up for the year. We're reevaluating our health goals, our financial goals, our relationship goals, our business goals, and kind of setting our intentions for going into 2025. And I was super surprised to see this list of 8 benefits of practicing gratitude. And I think, Ryan, that these are required. These are essential to increasing your productivity, which is one of the benefits, and to actually increasing the chances of you hitting the goals that you set out for yourself. So it's interesting how everything ties together on this 15-point plan, and everything works and feeds into and off of each other. And it's a very intentional list. And I think that when we think of gratitude, I know for myself, I can think, okay, well, it's just like this fluffy thing. You want me to write down what I'm thankful for, but there's actual science behind the practice of gratitude and a daily practice around gratitude, Ryan. And so that's what we're going to go through today, right? Is the 8 benefits of practicing gratitude. And the first one is reduce stress and anxiety. And so if we think about, okay, I'm setting these new goals for 2025. I'm setting, I want to take new territory. I want to reach a higher level of health. I want to improve my relationships. Wouldn't you think that reducing stress and anxiety would allow you to do that at a higher level, to have better relationships and to have higher productivity? I mean, I don't know about you, Ryan, but when I'm highly stressed and highly anxious, I'm probably not the most focused. I'm probably not the most loving. I'm probably not the most empathetic. And so I think this one's huge. Who doesn't want to have less stress and anxiety? I don't know. If you don't want to have less stress and anxiety, you should just stop listening right now.
Well, and Jacqueline, that is the mission and the goal of this podcast and of the 15-point plan, is to simply have a system and a plan to help us reduce stress and increase our energy. And we know that when our stress is reduced, we're going to be in a better mood. Ben says you can't be grumpy and grateful at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's really easy to not be productive when we're grumpy because we're just not in the right space to be productive as we possibly can be. And the reason I mentioned, maybe gratitude is a controversial subject, like you said, people sometimes think, oh, it's this fluffy thing. I just say I'm thankful for a couple things, but no, there's science behind this, right? It actually physically helps you regulate your cortisol, right? It's going to lower the cortisol levels in your brain, which that automatically brings your stress level down. So there's science behind the practice of gratitude. And that first benefit of a gratitude practice to reduce our stress and reduce our anxiety. Yeah. It's going to be right in alignment with our last couple of podcasts and talking about help us hit our goals. And when we have reduced stress and we have less anxiety, then that brings up benefit number 2. We have a better mood. Mm-hmm. We're going to be in a better mood. It's going to trigger this release of neurotransmitters in our brain and hormones like dopamine, that feel-good hormone. So again, science tells us when we practice gratitude, when we put our brain into a state of positive thoughts and of being thankful for all the things that we have in our life, our mood goes up. Our brain tells ourselves, hey, I feel kind of good. And that's taking us, again, away from stress and bringing us more energy, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of the benefits in terms of your mood and the scientific effects of a gratitude practice, they're actually very similar to the effects of exercise.
Yeah.
like hormonally. And so I just find that so fascinating. It's like, not that I'm advocating for not exercising, but if you aren't going to work out today, you better do your gratitude practice, right? So
Right.
it's like exercise, like on the couch, where you can just have your tea and your journal and increase dopamine levels in your body and increase the serotonin and decrease, like you said, the cortisol. I just find that so fascinating.
Well, and it shows, Jacqueline, for me, I like to believe in things, but I
Mm-hmm.
will believe in things a lot more and attach to them a lot more when I can see the science that proves its
Mm-hmm.
effectiveness.
Yeah.
So for me, I like knowing a little bit about that science. I kind of nerd out on brain science and what that will do.
Yeah.
So when I see, okay, I feel like this is working, but science also shows me, in fact, that
Confirmed.
it's working.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's a double win, and then looking at the next benefit, right? What's the third benefit?
Well, it's sleep. Who doesn't want better sleep?
So what you're telling me, Jacqueline, is if I check off that gratitude point on the 15-point plan, I can also check off the sleep
I mean,
point.
it scientifically it says you will have improved sleep, which I think, I mean, this all again works together. When I have better sleep, I actually have better mood and, less anxiety because I had a good night's sleep.
And let's think about it. It's pretty darn hard to fall asleep when you're grumpy, when you're stressed, when you're not in a positive state in your brain. and,
Mhm.
and it's going to be harder to fall asleep. You're not going to sleep as well. Then you're tired when you wake up. And again, it's that domino effect like we talked about in a past episode. So the cool thing is when I do my gratitude practice, I get my 1 point, but it's also going to get me another point because I'm going to sleep better.
Yeah.
So I love it when I can stack these points. So
Hmm.
how can we stack a couple points in there? Well, shoot, I just share my gratitude practice. That leads into my mindfulness practice that then encourages me to keep going in that domino.
Yeah.
Yeah, so better sleep. Better sleep is another benefit. But I love this next benefit, Jacqueline. This one's kind of neat. And I don't really get it. Maybe we can go a little bit deeper on this. But the fifth benefit is an enhanced resilience. I don't know how gratitude can enhance my resilience. What do you think about that?
Well, I was going to ask you. I was hoping that you would know the science behind it, but increased resilience. I think it probably, like, if I had to guess, my thought was when I'm focused on myself and my problems feel really big, and I feel kind of isolated. And honestly, I'm in kind of like more of a self-focused, self-centered state. And when I'm thinking of all the things that I'm thankful for, the people in my life, the things I have already, then it's improving my resilience because I'm kind of taking a higher vantage point or a higher perspective, and not so tuned in or yeah, not so tuned into my problems. I don't know that I don't know the science behind it, but I have to guess that it's something to do with shifting your perspective. At least for me, I know when I'm practicing gratitude, I mean, what you focus on expands. And so if you're just focused on your own problems and how hard things are for you, then you just get more of that. Your resilience goes down. When you're focused on what you can do for others and all the things that you're thankful for, then you probably have increased resilience because you're focused on different things. You're focused on the good things, not just the bad things.
That's kind of where my brain went as well. For me, I guess I look at this and Jacqueline, can I be grateful in all things in my life? And I'm going to build more resilience if I'm grateful for the hard things in my life. For example,
Mm.
when something really bad happens to me, can I
Mm.
see the gratitude in it? And can I go, I say this often and it's probably morbid, but look, I'm not dead. I'm still here. So if I'm not dead, I should be grateful for the lesson that I got from that. It's kind of
Mm.
morbid, right? But when we think maybe some people didn't wake up today, I'm really grateful for the fact that I simply woke up today. I'm thinking things like it could be a lot worse. I'm really grateful that yesterday I was crossing the street to go to my son's soccer game, and I was probably 30 seconds away from getting hit by a car because a car hit another car and the car skidded almost right into me. And I looked up and I thought, oh my gosh, I hope everybody's okay. And then I thought, I was literally like 30 seconds away from maybe getting hit by that car, but I didn't. And I'm grateful everybody's okay. And I'm grateful that happened. And I now have a higher sense of being aware of what's going on around me. And everybody's okay and it's not that bad. Gosh, I'm really grateful. That made me stronger. That made maybe that person stronger now that got shaken up really badly, but they're okay, right? So I guess I look at the enhanced resilience coming from the gratitude in our life that maybe we didn't want. Maybe those things that we didn't want or we didn't choose, that are the bad things or the hard things. How can we be grateful for those? And that's going to build that resilience, I guess, is where I went with that too.
Yeah, I love that perspective so much. So number 4 was increased resilience. Number 5 is improved relationships. So improved relationships, again, I think of this as like a focus thing. Like, my husband and I, we've been married for 16 years. And if I focus on all the things like that annoy me versus all the things I'm thankful for, it's a very different relationship.
But the good thing is that list of things that annoy you with your amazing husband's probably like 1, 2 things, and the list of things he does that's amazing is like 6,000. So
very true. Very true. Yes.
But yeah, you're right. Focusing on the good parts, right?
Yeah. Well, and I also think that with relationship, even, in business relationships, it doesn't matter what type of relationship I think we're talking about, but if you express gratitude, so it's one thing to think about it, but you express gratitude to the people in your life, I think that would elevate and improve your relationships, because I know how good it feels. Maybe it's because one of my love languages is words of affirmation, but when someone expresses their gratitude to me, I mean, kind of like Ben's point, like I can't be mad and grateful for someone at the same time. And also I can't really be mad and receive gratitude from someone at the same time.
Yeah. Again, you can't be grumpy and grateful at the same time. You can be grumpy and somebody gives you some gratitude and you go, gosh, it's really hard to be mad at you now.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think will allow us to be better at forgiving.
Yeah.
Can we use gratitude to get out of our own way to forgive somebody? Because when we don't forgive somebody, we're really just punishing ourselves. Like we're just like walking around with a knife in our hand that's cutting deeper into our own hand. And the person might not even realize that. So how can we use gratitude to allow us to move towards forgiveness?
It's really good.
Because that's going to increase our relationships as well. Our relationships are really, really harmed when we can't find the power to forgive somebody. But I think gratitude can really help us with that. You know what, Jacqueline? I'm really thankful that this happened with us because it's going to allow us to grow stronger together. Yeah. And it allowed us to look at each other and find some ways that we can communicate better. And I'm super grateful for that. And that ability to forgive. Yeah. Improve relationships. Okay.
Number 6.
We've talked. Yeah, number 6. I mean, this is in alignment, and this just hits home on all the last couple podcasts because we've set these goals, we have these big dreams, and we know that a gratitude practice is going to help us hit those, right? Because it's going to give us increased productivity.
I mean, think about it. Increased sleep, reduced stress and anxiety, improved mood, improved resilience. My relationships are doing better. I'm able to focus at a higher level, right? Which is a primary ingredient to increasing productivity, is increasing your focus. It's actually not being able to do more. It's being able to focus more. And I know for me, when I have bad sleep and my anxiety is high because I didn't sleep well and my mood is low and I'm maybe not, getting along with everyone the best because I'm a grouch, my productivity is low because my focus is low.
Yeah. And you just listed off the list of all those things that lead into making us more productive, more better with the time that we've got. And when we do all that, that leads to the next benefit because now we slept well, we're hitting our goals, we feel really good. Our self-esteem has now gone through the roof. So number 7 is our improved self-esteem, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So now we feel good. We're walking around. We're in this state of just being positive. Positive things are coming to us. And our self-esteem has now gone through the roof. And now we're attracting even more because of our confidence level and the positive energy that we're putting out to the universe. more and more good things have to come our way. Our goals are a lot more likely to get hit, and we're a lot more likely to be around positive people that continue to put us on this path of staying positive, staying increased energy, and reduce stress.
Yeah. And then you have an overall reduction in toxic emotions.
That's a good one. Like, well, that would be if you just told me, Jacqueline or Ryan, if you practice gratitude, you're going to remove some of the toxic thoughts that you have. I'd be sold on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any toxic thoughts in my brain. So that alone, but that wraps up the list of eight benefits to it. But just having that practice of gratitude, it helps you just eliminate those toxic thoughts, those thoughts that don't serve us. So, Jacqueline, we have now a list of benefits to do this. How do we practice gratitude? What does that look like? What does it look like to you?
Well, someone said this to me a long time ago. He's since passed away, but I'll never forget it. He told me, when you think of something positive about someone else, make sure you tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do. I'm not perfect at it, but I try every day, if I think of something, to send the text, send a Facebook message, write a note card, or tell them in person if that's an option, or call them and tell them, send a voice memo. I try to do those things every day and just remember, I think, those words of wisdom. If you think a compliment, share it with the person, because it means so much. And there's so much negativity in the world. We have so many negative thoughts about ourselves, that when someone gives you a compliment, I mean, at certain moments, it's so life-giving.
That's such a good point. I wrote that quote down. I love that. And what's interesting to me is maybe taking it into a far off place, but like this whole idea of the quantum field, like the universal quantum field. And my question would be, why did the universe give you that thought to think of that person to begin with? There's something going on universally that the universe said, hey, think about this person. And oddly enough, like sometimes you call them and like, oh, that's so funny. I was thinking about you too, Jacqueline.
Mm-hmm.
So I really believe in that. When you think of somebody or think of an action, why did that thought even come into your brain? And is that like a major gift that the universe just gave you, that if you don't act on it, wow, what did we just lose? So when we think, I love that. When you think of something positive about somebody, make sure to tell them.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, like I just wake up and that's what I do every day. I write down 10 things I'm grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
And people ask sometimes like, why 10? That sounds like a lot. Because it forces me to think. The first few are pretty easy. Like it's pretty easy to say I'm grateful for my son. I'm grateful for, the easy things. But by the time I get to 6, usually I got to kind of think. And then I get to 10 and I go, man, how could I be grumpy? Like, look at this list.
Yeah.
And it sets me up for a successful day. So I just write down 10 things I'm grateful for in my journal, which I guess, I just checked off another point in my journal and my mindfulness box as well. So 8 ways that practicing gratitude is going to benefit you. You can't be grumpy and grateful at the same time. Share this with somebody. It's that time of year where it's getting dark a little bit earlier. There's a lot of things going on with maybe holidays and a lot of really nice things to think about that sometimes can be a little bit stressful. So find the gratitude in everything in your life, and it will help you have a little bit more energy and a little bit less stress, right?
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and share this episode, like Ryan said, with someone that you love, and make sure that you are sharing those compliments. I think you can count that as a serve point. If you write down your gratitude, you're getting journaling point, right? Mindfulness point. So let's keep on our plan with the 15-point plan, and let's all work together to reduce stress and anxiety, and increase our energy and have better relationships and all the things. We love you, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye, everyone.